Welcome to Bible Study Together's daily dive into Titus. I'm Peter Schrock, the founder of Bible Study Together and a life and marriage coach at TogetherTransformed.com. We are in week 4 of our study, and this is the first day. In this video, I'll be going over the daily Bible questions and their answers. So let's get started. What role does this chapter play in this book? Or what purpose does it serve in this book? Overall, chapter 3 in the book of Titus kind of completes the instructions of Paul that he's giving to Titus and how to instruct the church. It shows them how they should live in society. It kind of wraps up the theology about how transformation actually happens in people's lives. It also helps to deal with people who are rejecting sound doctrine and summing up, how to respond to divisive people. And also, it really kind of, an overall kind of wraps up the whole message there. Paul gives some basic instructions to Titus, that are specific to him and his relationship with people who are traveling and whatnot. And so it kind of wraps up the chapter, the whole book really, and it kind of puts like a nice little bow on it, just completes all the different little pieces. How would you summarize this chapter in less than 3 sentences? All right, here's my go at it. I'm going to read off what I have. Though we once were disobedient to God, He has transformed us through the work of the Holy Spirit. Those who are against the work of the Holy Spirit should be rejected. So I think we could pull out several different pieces of this, but if I was just going to try and sum up a big chunks of it, I would keep it pretty basic in that sense. You might add something more here or something more over there, but I think it's important to recognize that the work of the Holy Spirit, particularly, is to bring people into the character of God. And that's what I mean when I'm saying that those who are, how did I put it? Those who are against the work of the Holy Spirit should be rejected. Because really, divisiveness really isn't really just when people disagree about a topic. Divisiveness produces the fruit that is not in line with the character of God. So it's kind of a bit of distinction there. It's not just merely somebody disagreeing, but it actually producing fruit that is against the character of God. But we'll talk more about this in another day. Overall, though, that's how I would sum up the chapter. What in this chapter most stands out to you today? I think there's so many different things here in Titus chapter 3 that stand out to me. But today, as a result of reading some different books that I was recently going through, the thing that stands out to me most would be Titus chapter 3, verses 1 and 2. So let's just take a peek at these. It says, "Remind them to be submissive to rulers and authorities, to be obedient, to be ready for every good work, and to speak evil of no one, to avoid quarreling, to be gentle, and to show perfect courtesy toward all people." So what stands out to me with this particular passage really has to do with being submissive to rulers and authorities, and to be obedient, to be ready for every good work, to speak evil of no one, avoid quarreling, be gentle, show perfect courtesy toward all people. There's just this thing that has grown up in our culture, particularly recently, recently as in the last couple decades, where there's just this nasty nationalism, I like to call it. And it's more than just political convictions. Like, it's the point where there's no courtesy, there's no gentleness, and there's just a constant attacking of different sides and different positions and different perspectives and stuff like that. And, this just flies right in the face of the exact instructions that Paul is giving. We're to function under the order of a ruling body of government and different things like that. But but the one thing is, and most certainly we should stand up for what is right. I think the point here to me that stood out in Titus chapter 3 here is that when we do stand up for what is right, we should be doing it in love. We should be doing it in gentleness and with courtesy and different things like that. And you can see this with people like Daniel in the Old Testament. He at different points he had to stand up for what was right, and his fellow friends there, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and when they were thrown into the fiery furnace and stuff like that, they're not being bombastic or critical or just nasty. Quite honestly, they're being quite courteous and honest. They weren't attacking. They were pretty gentle, it seemed like, in what they said. And God did a mighty work when they stood up for what they believed. So I'm not saying that we shouldn't stand up for what we believe. We absolutely should. But I just think the nasty nationalism is opposed to what Paul teaches here in Titus chapter 3, verses 1 and 2. All right. Well, this wraps up what we're studying here for day 1 here of week 4, and I look forward to talking to you again tomorrow.